Hey everybody, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I am your host, Steve Penny. Happy New Year, one and all. I say on the 5th of February 2025. I think it's illegal for me to say that now, but I'm saying it anyway. Rafa, you're here as usual. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I am good, thanks. It's been a couple of months maybe since we last recorded.
Yeah, for sure. I think we the last time that we recorded it was at the beginning of December. I don't even
Yeah, probably
remember.
something around that. My notes say the 19th of December.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, just over a month, maybe sort of 5 or 6 weeks. But yes, we were obviously away. We had Christmas and New Year, and then we had great intentions to record a podcast. I came back from New Year with a horrific bout of flu. Thank you, Germany, which made me sick for about 3 weeks. And then I think Rafa, you had some friends visiting as well, didn't you, from abroad? So there was a week where you were indisposed.
Yeah, exactly. Like you were friends and family back and forth, like but it was awesome because it's always and they are from Brazil, everybody, so it was pretty cool because I haven't seen them like for a very long time, so it was refreshing.
And way more important than recording a podcast.
Oh yeah. But I missed you, bro. Like, no doubt.
And we haven't even really seen each other, have we? It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yes, we are back now, so hopefully we'll be back to recording on a semi-regular schedule. Yes, we're recording on a Wednesday because we were going to record yesterday, our usual kind of Tuesday slot. But then I'd been busy with work stuff and hadn't had a chance to do my notes and usual bits and pieces. So then we decided to record today. But today I've been preoccupied all evening with the Joopiter auctions that have been happening, and we'll get into that
Okay.
a bit more later on. I luckily haven't wasted any money. Spoiler alert, I nearly did, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But that means I have literally watched this music video once. I have made no notes whatsoever, so I don't even have dates and all that kind of stuff in front of me like I normally do. So you suggested this one, so I'm hoping you're going to pull it out of the bag and give us all the information. So it might be a quick one, but let's see, and then we'll kind of bring you some of the bigger news topics from the last month or two
Okay.
while we've been away. But the video this week, a surprising one that you picked, Slim Thug. I ain't heard of that.
Yeah, man. I love this song. I love it so much. Like, I heard this actually the entire album, like already platinum. Like I heard it so much. And I think the reason was true. I have two reasons for to love this album so much. One, I mean, the era of the Pharrell Williams era, like it was 2005 when they launched the album, so it was huge. So I think was the first Pharrell peak ever, like 2004, 2005. So everything that Pharrell was putting out, I was loving it. And I remember pretty vividly. I have my Discman, man, Discman. This took me back. I was hearing the album on the street, like walking on the street and just hearing. And a friend came by and he was like, "Oh, what are you hearing?" And I just gave it to him, and I was listening to I ain't heard of that. And after 5 seconds, like his eyes like opened up so widely, like, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, I don't know where to begin. Is this rapper from Houston? Like, you probably don't know. And he was like, no, but I'm talking about the beats. Like, this is so insane. And I was like, right? And that stuck with me until this day. And I think it was stuck with me forever because it was this guy that he was not that into hip hop, and He didn't know about the Neptunes or Pharrell Williams. And when he first heard it, like his reaction, and I feel like this emotion just because it was me that showed to him this song, and his reaction was so mesmerizing. He was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And I think it was the same reaction that I had when I first listened to it. I'm like, "Whoa, this is incredible!" Like the mixing of the sounds. Like I feel like I heard, especially how I heard it at, is like is a song that give you kind of chills. Like the synths is kind of scary. If you took all the bongos and the percussion, he saw just the synths and the melodies. It's kind of like a horror movie soundtrack. And Pharrell put bongos on it, like with the rhythmic and funky, and it makes no sense. But when you hear it, it makes totally sense. So yeah, I love the song.
Do you just want to go back and explain to the kids what a Discman is?
Oh my God.
you, you aged yourself. Well, you aged both of us a little bit
Yeah,
with that one.
man. Yeah, Discman was the the better version, the evolution version of the Walkman. Don't ask me what Walkman is, please. But Discman, like you have your CD with songs on it, and you put on this device, and it was like an iPod, but it was huge because you have to put literally you have to put a CD on it, and you hear music from it. I don't know how to explain it better.
Man, I remember, yeah, having a Discman. It was like if you didn't have like a mix CD, you
Wow.
had to just like you had to pick an album and you had to live with that album for whatever you were then going to go out and do because you couldn't just carry around loads of CDs with you. You had one,
Yeah.
you put one CD into it, and you were sort of stuck with that for the next X number
Yeah,
of
man.
hours. And
Exactly.
then also, if you, I remember sort of sitting on the bus maybe or in cars, and whenever it would go over like a bump or something, or if you were walking and you walk quite quickly and it was in your pocket, and it would start skipping and jumping all over the place, and like, oh man, super
Yeah.
annoying.
Oh my God, don't even get me started on the bumping. It was so horrible. Yeah, I remember like I had like for a very long time I had this like super cheap Discman, and man, any bump, like I couldn't even breathe near of the Discman, and the song is skipping a little bit. So horrible. I was so poor, man. I was so pissed off. Like, man, I have to give me a better Discman. But yeah, but the one thing that I miss a lot about those days, that's is about that one thing that you just said about you have to stuck with this on one CD, and I think that's why all my favorite albums were I don't know, from the 2000s. Like if I have like top 10 albums, all of them are from the for the 2000s, from that decade, because we got a CD and we heard that CD like a lot.
Yeah.
And
So
and
yeah,
now
you were
we
stuck to it. You had to listen end to end. Of course, you could skip tracks once you knew the album, you knew which ones you didn't like. But
yeah,
normally, yeah, your Discman was in a pocket, zipped away somewhere. You couldn't touch it because it would skip if you did. So you just had to put it
yeah.
on and just leave it alone and let it play from like, yeah, end to end, basically. And then you got to the end and you weren't carrying CDs around with you. So it just looped and you listened to it all over again.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So I miss that. Yeah. Good
Man,
old
kids
days.
these days have got it easy. Yeah. Just get your iPhone out nowadays.
Yeah,
But yeah, as you mentioned, the track is from the album Already Platinum, which I think was delayed for quite some time, but like you say, came out in 2005.
exactly.
He was on Geffen Records, wasn't he? But was it also released under Star Trek as well?
Yeah, I think was released by Star Trek, but the distributor was Geffen and Interscope.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and it was delayed. The I think they delayed the release because the album has two versions. So the first version, like it leaked online, and it was super bootleg for on all over the place. And they were like, "Oh, okay, we have to redo the album or change some things just to give something new on the actual release."
I see. I did just see a little bit of information about it. It did better than I remember it doing. It sold 130,000 copies in its first week and got to number 2 on the
Yeah,
main Billboard album chart.
yeah, but at that time, like they they wanted to be the number one. So it was they were like, oh, they were not expecting to be on second because I mean, Slick Thug was super. It was super famous in Houston. Until this day, he's super famous. But at that time, like every Houston and Texas rapper were like on every hip hop song on the radio. Like remember, like Paul Wall, Chamillionaire, Mike Jones. So Slick Tongue was kind of in the wave of Texas rappers, and they were like, no, no, let's spend a lot of money on this guy because it's worth it. And when the album got out and he get the second position, they were like, oh man, they consider like a fail, which is incredible, especially nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at I managed to find the Wikipedia page for the album itself, and it seems like the first kind of the 3 singles that came out from the album, so Like a Boss, Three Kings, which has T.I. on it maybe, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah,
And then I Ain't Heard of That. They all kind of came out quite a while before the album was released. So
yeah,
Like a Boss came out in November 2004, which is a
yes,
really long lead time. Three Kings in February '05, and then I Ain't Heard of That in March '05. And then with the album coming out in the summer, you've then got, at least 2 or 3 months kind of gap in between there as well, which isn't great for an album that's already been delayed for quite some time.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the anticipation was huge. I mean, I was living online for the anticipation, and on the forum, everybody was like, "Oh, when it's coming out? When it's coming out?" And yeah, it was, but it was good because we got like all these extra Neptune's tracks. So I think the only tracks that they kept was "I Ain't Heard of That" and "Like a Boss," if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, I heard of that. It was supposed to be a Jay-Z song because it was actually was a Change Clothes remix, but Jay-Z never released it. And when Pharrell showed it to Slinton, he was like, "Oh no, I wanted this." So the first version that leaked online was a version that has Slim Thug and Jay Z owns on the chorus, and he has a verse. The second version is just Slim Thug and Pharrell, and the third version is the remix with Bun B, which for me is the best version.
Yeah, I'd say I re-listened to kind of all of them earlier, and it's a track that, like, if it comes on in the car or if I'm just around, then I'll let it sort of play in the background. But I'm not as enthused about it as you are. But like you say, the first original version was meant for Jay Z, and if you go and listen to the Jay Z version, and I'll put like a link to it's streaming on YouTube or something in the show notes. There's actually Pharrell saying "Change Clothes" remix
Exactly.
at the start of it and then during it, so that gives you a hint as to kind of what it was sort of supposed to be. It's then got a reasonably long Jay Z verse. Not one of Jay's best ones though, because this was around the time I think Jay had already retired,
Yeah, 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 100%.
and he was just popping up on random tracks and doing guest appearances and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not one of his best verses when I listened back to it earlier, I have to say.
Yeah.
And then there's the kind of, main version, which is just sort of Slim Thug and then Pharrell doing small parts. The Pharrell parts I really don't like, I have to say. And then, like you say, probably the best version out of the lot is the Bun B version, which I think moves Slim Thug's second verse to the first. Bun B then does the second verse, and then Slim Thug keeps the third verse, if I remember rightly from when I listened to it earlier. So they moved it around a little bit,
No,
changed some
sorry.
stuff on there.
No, I think the first verse. I think the first verse they kept the first verse on the first verse, and the third verse of the remix is Lin's second verse of the original verse.
Oh, okay. So like the other way
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
I'll take your word for it because you've probably paid way more attention to this song than
yeah,
I have.
yeah,
But then to go with those tracks, there's also a couple of different video versions as well.
yeah,
So there's, let's call it the original one, which is just Slim Thug and Pharrell.
yeah,
Very of its time, very similar to videos we've discussed in the past from the early 2000s,
yeah.
set in a Houston neighborhood,
True.
not a particularly nice or affluent neighborhood, unfortunately, I have to say, with Pharrell wearing his very nicest wife beater vest. And yeah, there's not really much more to say about it. It's very much, shots of the neighborhood, shots of the, his kind of crew, shots of nice cars.
Yeah,
We see a sneak peek of some diamond and dollar ice creams, the beige color ones, although in the video they kind of look black and white because of the way the kind of color correction has been done on the shot.
yeah,
And that's pretty much it.
yeah. There's not. I mean, when I watched today, I felt like it was like you said, like one of those classic videos from the 2000s, and and I think the intentions were good because I think was Slim Thug is a very proudly rapper from Houston, Texas. He said it all the time in all the songs. So I think it was like, okay, let's show our hood, like let's show our people, let's show the people that support me. And it makes sense. And what but the one thing that catch my eye that this time, and I don't remember, but I mean that the video, this video were never released on 2005 or 2004. Like I think it got released like 10 years ago, something like that. When on whatever you saw on YouTube, I think that was the time that they released the entire video. Because I remember like seeing like sneak peeks of the video, but never in its entirely. So, but one thing that piqued my eye when I was watching earlier today was the Black Cowboys. And I'm just saying this because I just starting to get to know this the history of Black Cowboys. I mean, I like from 5 years ago when I saw a documentary about them because people never talk about the Black Cowboys, and it was pretty cool that, and I was thinking like, oh, they did that video on 2005, so it was pretty cool to show Black Cowboys on the video. So yeah, but after that, I don't know, like that's pretty much it, and the video looks bad. I don't know. When you hear the song and the video didn't even match. I'm like, oh, why they try to do this way?
Yeah, which is why I think they then potentially threw a little bit of money at it,
Hmm.
got our old friend Hype Williams in,
Yeah,
and did a typical kind of Hype Williams video But I have to say, like, stylistically, it looks better because it's a Hype Williams video. And I think
Yeah,
most of the video, if not all of it, is kind of in that Hype Williams style of the time with the thirds on the screen and the one image behind and the center one something different. It's all in kind of black and white again, from what I remember. But again, a lot of the shots are just of cars, women dancing,
yeah, yeah,
the kind of the standard kind of stuff, really.
yeah. And from the hood also, like from Houston, probably. Yeah, but I mean, is a way better video, man. Mm. And
Yeah, and I'm just trying to look to see. I don't think it's going to give me any information, but I was trying to find out like what the dates were between the videos being done. So the original one looks like it was the original video was done in 2004 by the looks of it at
yeah,
some
for
point,
sure.
and then the remix one was done in 2005 from what I can
Yeah, yeah,
see. So maybe yeah, they kind of did the original video assuming that the album was going to come out a little bit sooner, kind of nearer to where the single was. The album got pushed a bit more, got delayed, and they maybe thought like, oh, actually, we need to hype this up again a little bit more. We need to chuck a bit more money at it and get a slightly fancier video that's going to get us on MTV a bit more often, and those kind of music video TV shows.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is 100% what happened, and but I love it, man. Like I love the part of the video with Bun B because he's rapping to the camera and all those guys are in the back just standing there. They are not even like bumping their heads, no, no. They are just standing there. Like so frightening, man. Well, oh, what the fuck? Like I was just imagining because if you think about it, and if you pay attention to the difference of both videos, like I feel like Pharrell are more, I don't know, more comfortable on the second one. But I
Oh
think it's just
yes,
because you're right, because I think Pharrell was on Slim Thug's hood, so he was like, "Oh, this is not my hood, so I just going to play cool in here." And the second one, they are, but that part, man, I was only imagining like if Pharrell was there for that shot when they are shooting like Bambi, because man, the guys they are just standing, just waiting for Bambi to wrap it up, and wow, and it's but I mean, it's kind of frightening, but at the same time, it's pretty cool just to see those guys like just waiting Bambi rapping, and I mean, and also Bambi like murdered in my opinion, like his verse is awesome, and but I mean, it's not that difficult to murder Slim Thug because I don't think Slim Thug is a very good rapper in my opinion. Like he got some pretty cool moments, but I think he's so repetitive. Like he always talking about the same thing. Like it's always about money. He was already super rich before the record deal, and the beaches and the cars and the diamonds, and that was it. Sometimes he talks about Houston, sometimes he talks about his friends, but he always come back to the same thing. So it's like it was kind of like, oh, okay. So I think that's why I love that this album, but I don't love Slim Thug.
I've got to be honest. I haven't really listened to much of him over the years. I'm sure, like when that album came out, I listened to the album a fair sort of few times. But I think in my library of thousands of tracks that I just put on, random all the time or shuffle, there's probably not that many Slim Thug ones in there. I have to be honest. So I don't really hear much of
Mm,
his stuff from over the years, and certainly not any more recent stuff, I would say. And that's again because I think I'm like you. I haven't really held him in sort of particularly high regard over the years. And even this track, despite it being, him having a sort of a few Neptune's tracks and stuff, I don't think it's amazing. The beat itself, like, yes, like the main part of it, and then the synths in it as well, I really like, but I don't like the Pharrell parts. I
yeah,
re I really don't. Like that little kind of bridgy bit that he's got that's like 3 or 4 lines. Just I don't know, I just found it cringe. Watching it again today, it was just a bit like, ugh. And
Yeah.
then the whole like when they're kind of, in the background, it's sort of shouting out Star Trek riders, yeah. Like I just don't like that.
Yeah.
It's good.
No,
It's good at the start of the track. Like I get that, and you drop the name of the record label in there and all that, as everyone did at the time. But to kind of have it throughout the track in different places, like it just doesn't fit for me.
yeah. I think no, it makes sense because today I was paying attention to those parts and I was like, oh, it's kind of weird that Pharrell like came with a falsetto, especially on the remix version, because you guys linked up with one of the strongest voice of hip hop and Bum B, and you got this guy like with a falsetto in the middle of the track, like it kind of don't make sense. And but I just got so used to it, and I love it so much. That for me, it was like, oh, okay, that's how it is. But I understand your point of view. Yeah,
You're like, that's how it is. Just shut up and deal with it.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, I have no negative comments about the song or about the entire album. Even the tracks that weren't produced by the Neptunes, I love them all. I mean, I think it's one of those albums that I listen to it so much on a Discman. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites, you know?
just ingrained into you. Yeah,
Yeah, and the one another thing about the video is it was the first time I don't know if previously than Pharrell's on that video on I don't know hip hop artists or other people used grills like colorful grills. And until that time, like until that moment in 2005 when first saw it, it was my first time seeing it. But I remember because the video is in black and white, so I was like, oh, okay, well, this grills looks like super weird. Like, it's why
yeah, yeah,
it feels like he's missing tooth, right?
yeah,
But but I think like after the video came out, I think a month or 2 months after, Pharrell photo shooting came out on a magazine. I don't remember what was it, but you probably have seen the photo. Is the photo that he's like looking to his grills on a reflection of his cell phone, and
yeah,
now you can see the colors, and now you're like, oh damn, looks pretty cool.
yeah. One thing I did notice, just touching on what you sort of said earlier about in that sort of second video, it's a bit more lively and a bit more kind of amped up and, classic kind of Hype Williams, big budget video. Is Pharrell is in full kind of stunt mode. He has the black Amex card sticking out of his hat by his
Yes.
ear. Just absolutely no need whatsoever.
Yeah, man.
And he's jumping around with his black Amex sticking out of his hat. Like, did he come up with the idea to do that? Did someone tell him to do that? Was he
Yeah,
showing the
man.
card off to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, show it off in the video, put it in your hat, a
Yeah,
strange
exactly.
choice.
Yeah, true, true, true. I mean, I think if he was his idea, I think probably Slim Thug, I don't know how can I say like brought the idea out of him, you know, because Slim Thug is all about stunting, you know, like it's all about money, jewelry, and cars. So of course, like Pharrell, like all the time he's showing his rings, his earring, his necklace, all the time in the video. And when you the other song that I love, I completely love on that album is already platinum, and I really love a line that Pharrell said. What is the line? He said, "I dumped. No, my wrist is dumped in diamond fondue." I'm like, wow, like he like he put a picture on your mind like, man, so creative, and it's all about stunting. You know, it's all about like having the best jewelry, and I mean Pharrell is, especially on the area, is very well known for his jewelry pieces.
Yeah. I'm just looking at my music library now to see what Slim Thug tracks I actually have in there. And
Yeah,
yeah, there's not many. Already Platinum, Chicken Strip, Click Clack with Pusha T. I ain't heard of that. There's obviously about 3 or 4 versions of that.
yeah. Ah, Chicken Strip also had two versions. I think it has another version with Snoop Dogg. Yeah,
Oh, that's the version I've got here, actually. Yeah.
yeah,
And then Like a Boss, This Is My Life, and the U2 Clean remix with Pharrell and somebody else
oh,
that I
you
can't
do.
read on the screen. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a few, but yeah, I don't have like the full albums or anything on there. So maybe I should give them a re-listen at some point and see if there's some redeeming features on there that I actually turn out to enjoy.
nice. Yeah, do it, man. I think especially for the beats. But I mean, and and one thing about the Neptune's tracks with Slim Thug on this album is like it is crazy because Slim Thug has such a strong voice and bravado and flow, but especially the singles, like it feels like Slim Thug is a feature, you know, because the I don't know, and it's not just because Pharrell is on it, but the beats. Like if you think when I hear I ain't heard of that, the beats, the beat always like stands out more for me. And like a boss also, especially with the lady like screaming on the background,
Yeah.
that is insanely cool. And I ain't heard of that. Like Pharrell had a verse and a verse and a half actually, and it feels 100% like Slim Thug is only a feature on that song. So I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people from like I remember like the critics were pretty amazed about the album. Like the critics were like the rates was pretty cool at the time. But I remember like people on the forums, rap forums, talking about it, and especially people from his city, from Houston, Texas. They were like, ah, no, I don't like this. Like, I prefer the mixtape. And I mean, of course, like the mixtape sounded way more local than the album.
And it's I was just sort of thinking then as you were talking about that, the success of it or lack of success of it or whatever, however you want to sort of frame it. And I noticed this earlier listening to it. It seems like it's meant to be, obviously it's not the lead single off the album, but it's meant to be like, the big one that's meant to drop right before the album comes out or just as the album comes out to really get people sort of hyped to buy the album. But it's not the sort of track you would hear in a club, really.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or
It's a
I
hard.
certainly wouldn't expect to, yeah. Which is why I think maybe they realized that it wasn't getting the sort of rotation they wanted in clubs and stuff. So like, well, how do we counteract that? Well, make a flashier new video with Hype Williams. And then if it's not being played in clubs, it's at least getting played a little bit more on TV and stuff like that. And people
Oh,
are
yeah,
kind
true.
of finding out about it that kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, is one of those records that was made to be listening on the car, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I heard that song twice in a club and I was amazed. I couldn't dance to it because it's almost impossible. Like, how you
Exactly,
gonna,
yeah.
like, you can sing the lyrics and that's it. But the crazy thing about it is that song is featuring on the ATL soundtrack, the movie, you know, the movie with T.I.
Hmm.
And this song played on a scene that they are on a skating park. So everybody's dancing, skating, and the song came out. So, and it kind of works.
I'll take your word for it. And I think like one other thing I just noticed earlier, like listening back to it and watching the videos, very much reminds me of Drop It Like It's Hot.
Oh yeah, true.
Obviously, with Drop It Like It's Hot, you've got the kind of sound throughout the, and you've kind of got that similar sort of clacking sound
Yeah, true.
in I Ain't Heard of That, although it's kind of done slightly differently. And then the synth part as well, obviously in Drop It Like It's Hot, it's a bit different and it's da 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 da, but it's the same kind of synth, just done
Yeah,
slightly
true.
differently. So it gave me those kind of vibes.
Oh yeah, true. Like just hearing you say this, I think it's more similar than to the Drop Like Hard remix. Remember? It's got
Hmm.
the heavy synth like brr, brr, brr. So it's kind of the same vibe,
Yeah.
and also the same vibe as Strung Out Finlay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess they're
Wow.
all of kind of roughly around that sort of time, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, and just one more thing about the video. At the very beginning, they show a card of a guy that is, and the card said with big letters, "Offenser." Offenser? Yeah, I think it's offenser. So I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And at first, I thought it was Linta, but it was not. Uh, oh man, I forgot to put the name of the guide on the notes. I'm sorry, but I have the I just can't click on the link. So I Google it, the name of the guy, and he was shot and killed by the police. But that happened in 2015. So, and that card, what means is like, it's a card that when prisoners get out of jail for holidays, they get this card. It's like a previous, it's like a temporary ID. So, if the police or someone stop them and ask for the ID, they have that card to say, "Oh, I don't have ID, but I'm incarcerated, so I'm just out for the holiday." And I searched for the name of the guy, and I saw this article that I'm going to send you, so you can put it on the link. So he was shot and killed by the police in 2015. So he was really, really, I don't know, a thug, a criminal, because they were showing like they are probably like showing his ID because he was like a friend or something. And then he was like, it was a police chase car, and when they stopped his car, like they just shot like 12 shots. Yeah,
Lovely. Thanks for that.
yeah, yeah. I just got in kind of in a little bit of a rabbit hole, like just trying to figure out who this guy is.
Easily done, yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, yes, send me the link to that and I can add it to the show notes if other people are interested in also going down that rabbit hole. They can do so.
Yeah, true. And one thing that I'm thinking now when you said that it was kind of similar to Drop Like That, I think I think the Neptune's tracks on this album is also kind of like a preview to Hell Have No Fury, you know, because it's I feel like it's also super heavy, super hard drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it kind of have the same synths. So yeah.
I re listened to Hell Have No Fury the other day, and obviously it's a absolutely classic album, but I hadn't listened to it all the way through for
Oh my God,
ages.
man.
And just listening to it end to end, just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, man, it is. It's my favorite rap album of all time. It's so
And
good.
we are
And they,
still sat here waiting
oh yeah.
for part two. I don't know
Yeah,
if we're ever
true,
going to
true.
get it. Every time I speak to somebody that you know has been working on it, they keep saying it's coming soon, but we still don't have it.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, let's see.
Because didn't we first hear about it like last summer, maybe? Because I think we were
Yeah,
talking
man.
about we were saying, oh, if they get the album out quick, then they could do like the summer festivals and things like that.
Exactly. Hmm.
It's now February. Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
And
man.
then it was like
Oh,
what, October, November, they were saying, oh, there's just one, waiting for one feature, just waiting for one more thing to come through,
yeah.
and we still don't have anything.
Yeah, one thing that came out recently is that Kendrick is going to be featured on the album, right? Have you seen this?
Oh, is he? Okay, no, I didn't see
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I look
That's
forward to
good,
that.
man.
Kendrick with the
Yeah, that's
clips.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Nostalgia is an incredible record.
Yes, most definitely. But yeah, let's see if and when we actually get that album.
Yeah, hopefully.
Should we move on to some other news that we've got?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because one of these might take quite a long time.
Okay.
All right. So these are just kind of a few kind of key things that have happened the last few months. There's not been a huge amount of news anyway, because it's been Christmas and New Year and holiday times and stuff. So just a few bits I had noted down. Recent BBC EU archive sale went on for quite some time. Hopefully people saw that and managed to get some bits and pieces. There were some quite nice bits in there, to be fair. I think they added stuff to it kind of partway through as well. There's some good prices on some items. I managed to get 3 items, I think. So a couple of pairs of sweatpants, and then also one of those leather diamond and dollar trays, coin tray things that you know,
Oh,
put your
yeah.
keys in, put coins in, stuff like that. I've been looking at that for ages. That wasn't technically on sale, but I got it anyway.
Yeah.
And I saw this week they've actually released a new version of that, black and white version as well. So that's also tempting me. But yeah, I grabbed a couple of bits. Did you? I know you were thinking about getting some stuff. Did you get anything in the end?
Yeah, man. No, because I had like 21 items on my card, right? So, like I said to you, like, oh man, I don't know about getting those because I was afraid to getting text. And then you said, oh no, no, you're not gonna get text because blah blah blah. But okay, I'm going to buy at least like 5 items because I really wanted them. And all of the items that I wanted, they didn't have my size anymore. Of course, like it was at the end of the promotion. So like, oh man. But the item were like it was like a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. It was like a purple sweatshirt with the little arc logo
Yeah,
on the chest. I really wanted those. The other 2 items were 2 flannel shirts, one blue and one were like orange and yellow, something like that. And the other one was a varsity jacket.
nice.
Yeah, it was kinda expensive, but I was like, oh man, like it's going to be my chance to have a BBC varsity, so I'm gonna get it. And but my size was gone, man.
It's always the way. I've had that with a few items as well during this sale. That's
Yeah,
why, yeah, I just sort of bit the bullet and grabbed a few bits while I could. But yeah, I had other things in my kind of tab list that I was kind of looking at and debating, and yeah, they ended up just sort of selling out or not having the size. But at least yeah, I got a few bits anyway, and there'll be more
nice man.
sales.
Oh yeah, yeah, true, true, true.
And then speaking of other BBC EU releases, they've had a couple of quite good releases in the last couple of weeks. In fact, so a new BB Astro items. This is their kind of offshoot, more simplistic kind of version of the label,
Hmm.
although still just as expensive. But some of the items are really, really nice. They've got there's some hoodies and some tops with like an iridescent kind of logo on the front and on the back. They're starting to use not the full Starfield pattern, but the kind of little kind of colored dots that look like the Starfield pattern. I really like those items. They just had like a puffer jacket release under BB Astro as well in that design. So some really nice bits there. And then also Spring Summer 25 has just released as well, because obviously spring is nearly upon us. And again, some really nice bits and pieces in that release. They do also seem to have included some items in their promo shots that haven't dropped yet. I think they normally do like 2 or 3 releases for each sort of season. So I'm sure those items will come in drops in the coming weeks. But yeah, the stuff that's come out so far, really nice. They're using the diamond and dollar print again with certain hoodies and hats like the OG ones.
Yeah, I saw that.
Again, there's that kind of I really like there's a black polo shirt with the astronaut head on the chest with the kind of star field around it. That was really nice. There were a couple of other bits I saw as well that were very interesting. So yeah, good to see quite a few nice items in the latest releases that have come out.
Yeah, true. One thing that I like about the this kind of new logo of the BB Astro is exactly how they reinvented the logo, right? Because
It's a more like modern take, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool because we have the first classic logo, and then we have the other logo that is always coming out in all the t-shirts, this kind of arc logo also. And you also have like I remember like I think it was in 2007, 2008. They have like the Billionaire Boys Club in very strong font with like what it looks like some sparkling in the middle of the letters. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that logo was like kind of heavy also on that time, but it was pretty cool to see like they coming out with something different and pretty cool and innovative in some way.
Yep, definitely. Moving on from BBC, we also had the Louis Vuitton men's autumn winter 2025 show. Was that a week ago, 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah,
Again, some really nice pieces. I'm looking forward to. We should see these in store kind of towards the end of the summer because they're for the fall and winter. I would say there was more stuff that wasn't for me in this collection than previous collections. So like designs I didn't like or colors. There was a lot of brown in this
yeah,
collection, which I wasn't a big fan of. But the fewer bits that I did like, I really liked. There was
yeah,
some really, really good stuff in there, really nice pieces. So I'm looking forward to seeing that kind of in stores later in the year. Again, way beyond my kind of price range, so it's very unlikely that I'll actually end up buying any of it. But there were some nice bits, so it's good to see the collection still sort of going strong.
yeah,
We also did have some new music during the show, as we tend to do at Pharrell shows. There was a Don Toliver track with was it one of the guys? He's from like BTS or something.
yeah, yeah. I guess
I
so.
can't remember his name. Yeah, that
Yeah,
actually sounded really good.
yeah, true.
So I'm looking
And,
forward to more music coming soon. I think we've seen sort of posts online over the last sort of few months. Pharrell's still working with plenty of people out there in Paris.
yeah, true.
So I think now we're in the new year, we should hopefully see some more releases from different artists and see some more Pharrell music.
Yeah, I just I'm also waiting for the Pharrell and Friends album. I I think he released all those singles, and I think he thought it was going to be hits, and it wasn't, and still no album. But I mean, this song with Don Toliver and one of the guys of BTS, we guess. I mean, they are pretty huge features, so
Yeah,
it can be a hit. Yeah, and then, like I said, the song is good.
yeah, it certainly sounded good.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it's out on streaming or anything yet.
it is not.
I can't remember sort of seeing it. No, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were 4 or 5 tracks during the show. I can't remember them now off the top of my head. If you go and follow like Pharrell Williams World on Facebook and Instagram, they had a good list of all the tracks and
True.
stuff like that. And as and when things get released, we'll obviously talk about them here and post links to them and stuff. Some sneakers. The sneakers that Pharrell has been wearing the last few months, they've been kind of properly announced. They are called the Adidas Jellyfish.
Yeah.
Interesting name.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a fan of chunky sneakers. I think I've said that numerous times on here in the past.
Yeah.
But these,
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking these. I'm liking these.
Yeah, the design is pretty cool, man. All the things that kind of go outside of the sneakers.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
I
got like
love
little
it.
sort of flares on the side, little kind of fins and stuff, little flashes of color. I can see myself getting a pair of these. There's still no word on when they actually get released, although it will likely be this year at some point. 'Cause Adidas has kind of formally kind of confirmed them.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to. It's going to be a big sneaker year this year.
Yeah, true. And but I at the same time that really like these shoes, I also thought about like, oh, this shoe would be awesome 5 years ago, you know? And
Yeah, I get what you mean. I saw some comments earlier today where someone was saying, "Oh, look, like Pharrell's trying to make his own version of the
Triple S,
bl- yeah, the Balenciaga, yeah, yeah," and it looks like that, which is like he's starting to look a little bit dated now, which I get,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and that makes me think about this new Louis Vuitton collection also. Like it's been a while that we haven't seen Pharrell doing anything ahead of his time when it comes to fashion or sneakers and clothing. Like everything, like especially from the last, I don't know, 5 years probably, maybe 3 years, like everything looks kind of like what is the word? Um, it looks like Pharrell is like running late on when it comes to fashion, clothing, and sneakers. But at the same time, makes me think about how Pharrell is very good on selling clothes and sneakers. So sometimes I feel like that's why those brands are partnering with Pharrell, like because they know Pharrell can sell stuff and Pharrell knows how to get what is going on the culture and put it on product. But as a fan, it's just like because I remember like I saw the collection with Louis Vuitton and I was like, oh man, so many great pieces. And then like a minutes like 10 or 20 minutes after that, I saw the what is the name? The oh, what was the name of the guy? Super Kid? No, Super Kid? Do you know there's a designer in New York that I think his name is Super Kid or something that he did a collaboration with Bape. I don't know if you saw the pieces. Man, it's pretty cool. And when I saw
Oh yes, no, actually, I do know what you mean. Yes, sorry, yeah,
right, so when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. Like he's going back, but also putting like something like ahead of its time a little bit, and he mixed with his brand, which I love because he's pretty the guy the designer of the and the owner of the brand. He's pretty creative, and I saw that like, oh man, this looks so good, and I was like, oh, and I completely forgot what I just saw with Pharrell and the Louis Vuitton collection, and then I saw the collection with Carhartt and Sakai. Man, that collection is so good. It's so good. I was like, man, and even Pharrell were wearing a jacket.
he was there at the show and wearing one of their pieces. Yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, I think Pharrell was just missing this, I don't know, this spark on his collections, like he's always like coming back. I think it's always kind of nostalgic what it's putting out, and especially for us as fans, we always like the pieces They kind of give us this nostalgic feeling, and nothing blew my mind. Since Pharrell is in Louis Vuitton, nothing like completely blew my mind. I was like, oh shit, this is pretty cool.
Fair enough. I have to say
Sorry
there's a
for my
lot of
rant.
that's fine. No, no, that's fine. That's we need different opinions on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff I've liked, and I should just circle back quickly to the LV stuff because I completely forgot to mention this. The LV Buttersoft sneakers that came
Oh,
out as well.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was cool.
So
I like it.
for those that if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen them, they look like a cross between a kind of Nike a Cortez and a board flip, basically.
Yeah,
If a
man.
Cortez and a board flip met after a few drinks on a night out and got together, this is the
Awesome.
shoe that would be produced as their offspring.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't like them. I'm not. Everyone knows I'm not a fan of board flips anyway. Either version of the board flips.
Oh, I like
So
them.
when I first saw these, I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm feeling them. They look a bit too skatery for my liking." But since then, having seen them on feet of numerous people, not just the models, but plenty of other people that were there and got to try them on and got to kind of show them off a bit. They do look really good,
Yeah, man, I have the same feeling.
and obviously they are called butter soft because the leather that they're made from is butter soft. And I'm told again by people that have put them on their feet and looked at them and felt them that they are indeed butter soft. And they
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely lovely, soft, comfy leather.
Yeah. And I saw a video of the guy was like making a review of the shoe, and when he showed the shoe really near of the camera, I was like, man, this look awesome. Actually, I have the same feeling as you. Like at the first time I glimpsed my eye, I was like, oh man, this look like just another shoe. But yeah, man, it totally grown on me. Let's see,
Yes.
because sometimes like Louis Vuitton sneakers is not that expensive, so let's see how it's going to be. Do you know the it has the price already?
No, there's no price yet, but like the normal LV trainers that they're called, they normally like the basic versions go between I think 550 euros and 800 euros, depending on like what the version
Damn.
is and the colorway and stuff like that.
Yeah,
With these being like, I'm assuming a slightly different kind of leather as well, they're probably going to be near the top end of that.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm guessing kind of the 800 euro mark, maybe.
yeah. Damn, yeah. That's going to be hard for me.
Yeah, me as well. I don't think I'll be getting a pair. If they
Yeah,
were at the lower end, I'd consider it, but I don't think they will be.
yeah.
And again, I'll try and I'll put an image as the chapter art, and again a link in the show notes. But again, if you haven't seen them, there's all sorts of colorways available. I don't know if they're all going to drop at once or if they're going to kind of be staggered. Unfortunately, if you have seen kind of the promotional videos and shots and you like the look of the orange pair, which I think a lot of people were trying on and showing off on social media, the orange pair will never be released. It's I think it's a friends and
Oh,
family version only.
okay.
So yes, it will not be available at retail at all.
Uh, okay. Let me just go back when I was ranting about Pharrell collection with Louis Vuitton. One thing that I really, really like was the keychain, the flip
The
phone
mobile
keychain.
phone, yes,
Yeah, man, that thing, man, that thing blew my mind. I totally forgot about that. Man, that was creative. I was like, oh, this is cool, man.
that thing
That,
is more expensive than an actual phone. It's 1,500
yeah,
euros.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But man, it looks so cool, man. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it is.
okay,
It is
this
really
is it.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it, in my opinion, is the best thing about this entire collection. So cool, man. So creative.
Last week or the week before, I've had this. People might have seen on Instagram and stuff recently. I was having this debate about, this is so mundane and boring and old man talk, but I was debating what to do with my keys. So I have all my
Hmm.
keys on one key ring, my car keys and my house key. And it
Yeah.
has an air tag on it as well. And I was like, oh, do I separate them? Because I'm not, I work from home, so I'm not driving the car every day and stuff. Makes it easier to, when I go out, just take the house key and that's it, And trying to work out what to do. This is real old man shit. Eventually, I decided to separate them. I was like, no, I'm just going to have a separate house key. But if I have the house key separate, I need a keychain for it. And I was like, if I get a keychain, I want to get a nice keychain. And then, as if by magic, as if the Mark Zuckerberg was listening to me through my phone, I just
Hmm.
started seeing all the posts all over again of that gold skateboard from the last show.
Oh, yes.
And like, I absolutely, and he recently did like another version covered in diamonds as well.
Yeah,
But there's like
yeah.
the original version. And I was like, I wonder if that's in stock anywhere still. And I went on the
Oh,
website, and the website says, like, no, it's sold out. And it says, but check your local store. So I went on there, typed in Helsinki, 2 available,
oh my God. How much, man?
600, I think it was.
Oh, fuck me, man.
Everyone will be glad to know I didn't. I bottled out, but it was in my basket. I was
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
close,
I
very
can
close.
imagine, man. Oh my God.
And I was just like, no,
Congratulations, man, for not
yeah,
purchasing.
I work from home. I leave the house like once a week. Like, I can't spend 600
Yes,
euros
man.
on a keychain, as much as I think it's brilliant and I love the look of it. And I think it's amazing. And it would be great to have a piece from, like, Pharrell's LV collection. I was just like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But I was very, very close.
Yeah, man. I know the feeling. Yeah, man. But congrats, man. That would be so crazy. Especially like you said, like you're never going to like you're not gonna use it that much for just six
Yeah.
hundred, man.
And I know
Yeah,
full well
that
the
would.
first time I take I cross the road to go to the shops or
Yeah.
something, I'll drop it on the floor and it will land on
Yeah.
all the gravel and shit outside to stop the snow and ice, and it will all get like scratched up and
Oh my God. And get your heart broken.
yeah, that would have fucking infuriate me.
Yeah, exactly.
One other thing I don't like about their kind of keychains and their jewelry and stuff like that is they're all like really not shit metals, but they're not gold or
Yeah.
anything. They're not even gold plated. They're all like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nickel and brass and stuff like that. And I looked at something recently. I think it was from one of the Pharrell collections, or maybe just in general. And it was, I don't know, maybe like a pair of earrings or something. And they were like 1,000 euros or some crazy price. And they were really basic. I was like, oh, well, they must be gold. They must be solid gold. And it's like, no, they're
Mm-hmm.
just brass and it's gold
Oh,
colored. It's like, for like
yeah, yeah.
1,000 euros, you're not even giving me gold. Like, oh.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's
So again, that would annoy me, buying that keychain, and it's like, yeah, it's just brass basically. It's not even gold plated or anything like that.
yeah, man. One thing that I don't like the feeling that I have after I buy something very expensive, kind of like that, for example, because I always feel so much anxiety of taking care of it. I think the thing that I have in my possession that is the most valuable thing that I spend more money right now, I think is probably my iPad probably because I do all my work in there, and I take so much care of it. And I don't even like to because sometimes I when I we go to travel, we go to Brazil, or we go to all these other cities here in Europe to the sneaker events. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to bring this because it can, I don't know, it can escape or sometimes or can be stolen. So I don't like this feeling of having something that values so much money. It gives me
Yeah.
anxiety. Yeah,
For me, it's not quite like that. Like, I wouldn't have sort of I wouldn't be worried about losing it or dropping it or whatever. But I know if it did happen and I did drop it and scratched it and sort of ruined it, I would be just so annoyed
yeah,
and just so pissed off with myself. And you
exactly.
shouldn't, like, if it you should buy things this is really ironic me saying it because, the amount of stuff I buy, but, you should buy stuff within your means. If you're earning enough money and you're rich enough to buy a €600 key ring, you shouldn't care if you drop it on the floor. Yeah, you should be wealthy enough to just be like, "Nah, okay, whatever, I'll buy another one or replace it or whatever." But, we're not in that situation, unfortunately, I don't think. So,
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen this photo of Kanye West? He's holding his laptop like he's a Mac probably, and he's holding with just this two like with
oh,
just two
yes, I have.
fingers.
He's holding it out,
And
yeah.
I'm like, wow, bro, like this is some rich people shit. Like I will never hold a Mac with just two fingers. I will hold it with two hands and arms, like right up on my chest, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's the lifestyle where you drop it and you just go,
Okay.
"Assistant, run to the Apple Store, please. Another one, please." And you just send somebody off to replace it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Insane.
Man. Speaking of insane, shall we quickly go through our last story that we've got here? Well, not story, but last bit of news. And that is the Jupiter auction that finished earlier today.
Yeah.
There were two auctions. So one was Nigo Nose, there's a collection of items owned by Nigo. And then another one called Pharrell Nose 2. And, a further auction of Pharrell's various bits and pieces, similar to what they've done on Jupiter previously. I just thought maybe now that all the auctions are finished, I think they finished a couple of hours ago, the last one, we could kind of quickly go through and look at some of the bits there.
Yeah.
I do know somebody that's bought one of these bits and has spent quite a lot of money. So we can talk about that as well. I'm just checking to see if they've messaged me again, but they haven't. So maybe with the Nigo one, there wasn't a huge amount of interesting stuff in there, but we can have a quick talk about it. It seems most of the Nigo stuff sold. A lot of the Louis Vuitton stuff, Goyard stuff went for kind of slightly over estimate, unsurprisingly, especially the old Murakami stuff. Quite a lot of sunglasses in here, different millionaires. Most of them kind of reached the low end of their estimate. The ice cream Goyard wallets, I knew they would sell very well. There's a Cones
Yeah,
and
of course.
Bones one, which was estimated for 5 to 700, which went for just over 2,000. Then there's a Running Dog one, again estimated 5 to 700, went for 1750. Lots and
Wow.
lots of Beatles memorabilia, lots of kind of posters. A lot of them got a lot of late bids, and most of them sold, I think, by the looks of it, with one of them going for nearly $12,000. What else? We've got lots of jewelry. Some of these pieces going for like a lot over the estimate. There's a Goro's 18 karat gold feather ring, which was estimated to go for 30 to 40,000, and it went for 71,000.
Wow.
Lots of rings, lots of bags, wallets, stuff like that. A lot of the Chanel bags and stuff like that, Goyard bags, they went for overestimate. So we had some from the Chanel Pharrell collection. He's also got a Hermes kind of Birkin bag, some custom Goyard bags, and travel sets and things like that. They all sold pretty well. Ice cream cones from the BBC ice cream store in Japan. They went for $2,500. There are 6 of them by the looks of it. I do also know a few people selling these as well. There's a few of these floating around online that you can buy, and they were kind of promotional pieces that were in the store. He had a Andy Warhol Campbell's tomato soup framed print went for $40,000, although that was kind of slightly underestimate.
Yeah.
Lots of Futura stuff, which didn't really do particularly well. Some of it didn't even make the low end of the estimates. Again, like I'm not a big Futura fan. I know obviously he is popular, does a lot of like big collaborations and stuff like that, and some of his artwork I really like, just not my sort of taste.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, there's
Same.
a lot of his stuff, yeah, that didn't it sold, but yeah, didn't do brilliantly. What else is there? A Beastie Boys signed guitar that went for $40,000. And then the interesting ones that I was watching towards the end were he's got a number of mystery boxes. Now, this is real rich people shit because this is literally a box that's completely sealed up, put together by a certain artist. You don't know the value of what's inside, and you're just bidding blindly. So you can obviously get a rough idea
Yeah.
of the kind of declared value by what their estimate is, but you're taking a punt. So there was a Futura one which sold for $14,000, but that had an estimate of 25 to 35,000. A Daniel Arsham one that sold for 10,000, and that was over the estimate of 8,000. And then there were two Murakami ones that had lots of really late bids on them. So there was a large and a small. Now, quite surprisingly, the small one got loads of bids right at the end and sold for more than the large one. So the large mystery box was estimated to sell for $30,000 to $50,000, and it sold for $50,000. The small mystery box was only estimated at 25 to 35,000,
Whoa.
but it sold for a massive 64,000.
Damn.
So I don't know if there's like a little bit of inside information going around somewhere, or
Yeah.
speculation, I
True.
should say, and people have heard, or heard rumors or heard information of what's actually in the box. They kind of know or think they know that there's a very expensive item in there, which pushed all the bidding up at last minute. But that was kind of very interesting to see. And then there was also a final lot which was added only partway through the whole auction, which was a Cause Uniglow kind of oversized Snoopy cushiony toy thing, which was estimated at $8,000 to $12,000 and went for nearly $20,000 eventually.
Whoa.
Anything there in that Nigo collection that you would liked to have got your hands on?
Not really. No, I think for me, you know what happened? Like for me, is like when I see the prices, I was like, oh man, this is so much that it kind of like took me out, you know. I think the Pharrell stuff, you were more like, oh, okay, let's. There's a lot of pieces in here that I would love to,
Hmm.
but the Nigo stuff, I was like, oh man, it's too much money. I'm not very interested. But I, but But not to say that I didn't want anything. I think the millionaires, of course, like the classic millionaires, like the shades, they were like, oh, okay, that would be awesome to have.
Yeah, the collection of the millionaires, the Goyard ice cream customized wallets would
Yes.
have been nice. And then the ice cream cones from the BBC store in Japan as well.
Oh yeah.
I had my eye on, but yeah, the prices of those all kind of shot up. But let's look at the talk about the Pharrell stuff quickly, because there were lots of really desirable items in this auction, and I had some bids ready. I did make one bid very early on. We'll get to that in a
Mm-hmm.
minute. And then I had a
Okay.
few others open to bid on if the prices didn't get silly, but prices did get silly, quite obviously. So let's go through some of these. So N.E.R.D yellow trucker hat, the one worn by Pharrell for many years, absolutely fucking filthy and disgusting. The whole front of it is stained God knows how much that man must
Bro,
sweat or what he's dropped it in.
bro, when I saw the head, I was like, okay, I get it. And I think like I think they thought it would be a good idea just to maintain the look of the head, and it makes sense
Mm,
because it have like a emotional value also, so
yeah,
it makes
everything
sense.
that's been worn in this auction, it still has worn condition. But
Yeah,
this hat is
exactly.
fucking disgusting.
Bro, horrible, man. Horrible.
Like
Jesus
absolute
Christ,
filth.
man.
It sold for $2,250.
Yeah, man. Huge fan. Was it Drake?
I don't know. I was looking at some of the prices of things earlier, and I was wondering if he was there in the background buying some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
you've essentially paid over 2 grand, and you've got to remember you've got to add what is it, 15%, I think, for the auction house fees as well,
Yeah, true.
plus probably shipping as well. So someone has paid nearly 3 grand for a sweat stained hat. Like I know it's an iconic hat and it's the one that Pharrell has worn for years and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it looks fucking rancid. So, you're gonna need to get that cleaned at some point.
Yeah, true. Or just pack it in a way that nobody can touch that filthy shit,
Yeah.
man, because it looks horrible. But I was
But
just
I just sort of
thinking,
think if you're gonna put it on display and stuff, like you want to pay 3 grand for it looking like that? Like
exactly, bro, I don't know.
rich
I
people
mean,
shit.
yeah, exactly. If I was a rich producer, for example, I will be probably like super influenced by the Neptunes and Pharrell and N.E.R.D. So it would be cool to have on my studio this head on display, And you can
Yeah.
even imagine how much it will be valued when Pharrell dies, for example.
Yeah, but this thing, I looked at a lot of these things and like aside from some of the jewelry, I don't think these things you are going to be able to resell for a big price in years. Like even
Yeah.
God forbid when Pharrell dies, I don't think anyone's paying 3 grand for a sweaty hat. I
I
really
don't
don't.
know, man. I
Not
don't
in
know.
not in 20, 30, 40 years time. I get
Yeah.
like now why people would pay that because he is still of the moment, he's still really famous. There's a lot of people our age that are still very nostalgic for that hat in the early 2000s. But in 40 years time, no one's going to give a shit about a sweaty N.E.R.D hat, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Mm,
I feel like that head is so iconic for so many reasons. But yeah, 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 I get it. Like, I really don't know. I just can't imagine,
yeah.
I guess.
Anyway,
But yeah,
next.
man, move on.
BBC navy and yellow jacket, hand painted, customized by Pharrell. Also, I liked in the notes, found in the pocket a pair of Celine sunglasses and a airline ticket from Paris to London, just randomly in the pockets that were in storage.
Wow. Okay.
Again, this is a bit of a classic jacket that we've seen him wearing in the past quite a lot.
Yeah.
Sold under estimate, estimated 2 to 3 thousand, and it sold for 1,625. I thought this one might have got over 2,000, but not quite.
Yeah. I didn't actually because I don't think this jacket is that iconic. I mean, he was wearing this jacket on the Girl album era, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I think if it's anything by Pharrell that was from 2000, okay. But after that, it's never that iconic, I guess. At least for the cowboy hat, the Vivienne Westwood hat.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah,
Next, we've got some Adidas N.E.R.D NMDs. These I was going to bid on if the price had stayed a little bit lower. It didn't go particularly high. They sold for 500, so slightly under the estimate. If there hadn't been any bids on them, I think the starting bid was 300. I probably would have
Hmm.
put a bid on them. But yeah, like when it gets to sort of 600 plus all the fees plus the shipping, not worth it for me at least.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Next one, a custom blue leather Adidas track jacket sold for $1,000 US, which was kind of on the estimate. I don't know if this is worn because it still has the tag on it. I'm just having a quick look at the description. Okay, so it does have some wear. So this has been worn, and it's a one of one kind of custom made piece as well. So yeah, $1,000. There's a few of these Adidas kind of customized jackets in here as well.
Yeah,
Next one, N.E.R.D pink trucker hat.
yeah, that's the one for me, man.
Yeah, not quite as sort of desirable amongst I think a lot of people as the original yellow and white one because you didn't really sort of. I think Pharrell has worn this pink one, but yeah, he would normally stick to the OG one. But it still
Yeah,
sold.
but no, no, I was just gonna say like I have never seen this before this auction.
Okay,
I have no idea that this exists.
yeah, I do remember there were a few different colorways kind of really early on, and I think this one says in the description, yeah, very early version, printed on a Nissan cap
Yeah,
with a very rare pink crown and brim. So yeah, there were a few of them floating around, but yeah, you don't see many of them nowadays because they're nearly
yeah,
25 years old.
yeah. I was surprised.
Yeah, but this one went for $1,250.
Wow.
Again, I knew the price would shoot up very quickly, so I counted myself out of that. Next one, another BBC kind of varsity jacket. This time, a kind of chocolate brown and orange one. This one also has a special surprise left in the pockets, and that was a pair of earphones that Pharrell has used. This went for $1,125. Next up was something I thought might go for a little bit more, which was a pair of the N.E.R.D SB Dunks.
Yes, that's the other one for me, man. I would
Yeah,
love
so
those.
obviously I've seen these go for higher money previously. They're obviously only there was what 1,050 pairs of these, I think, that were ever made. Good friend of the podcast, Dave, he has numerous pairs of them.
Yeah,
This one is numbered
asshole.
number 7, so it's a really low number, which makes it kind of a little bit more desirable generally as well.
Yeah,
But these went for overestimate at $3,000. But yes, these would have been on my list of things I'd want, but I knew they would go for quite a substantial sum of money.
yeah, true.
And next, the one item I did put a bid on, mainly just because I just wanted to put a
Yes.
bid on something just to kind of see how the platform worked at the start. And that is the Bape N.E.R.D red camo trucker hat. So it's got the red kind of Bape N.E.R.D camo with the N.E.R.D logo in red, black, and white on the front.
Incredible.
Again, this one's a really sought after item. This one went well over estimate and went for just under 1,900 US dollars. So I think my initial bid, I think the starting bid was like 300 or something. So I put that in. I think within 3.5 minutes, somebody had outbid me. So I was like, okay, I'm giving up.
But wait, you said it was underestimate.
Over.
Over. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well
true,
over.
true.
Yeah, massively over.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Massively over. Dang.
Yeah.
But I mean, well deserved. Incredible
Yes.
piece right there.
Then we've got a few Louis Vuitton pieces. So there was an umbrella, a Murakami cherry print one, which
Pass.
is nice. Yep, sold for 1,100. There was a red leather keeple, which sold under estimate, just under $2,000. Then there was a silver mirror keeple, which sold for roughly in the estimate, just under $4,000. Then probably the biggest, most desirable item in this whole auction,
Yes.
and that is the special order black multicolor monogram Christopher Double M Takeshi Murakami backpack, which had an estimate, which everyone knew was massively undervalued, but it had an estimate of $4,000 to $6,000. It sold for $312,000.
Wow.
I was
Incredible.
just sat there watching this in the background, and watching the bids go up and how often people were bidding and what it was going up by. And I think there were probably 2 or 3 people bidding on this, and it got into the
Yeah,
hundred
man.
thousands, and I was like, "Wow, that's a lot." It started edging closer to 200,000, and I was like, "Oh wow, this really is a lot." Went over, I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
"Wow, is this bag going to make $250,000?" It did, and it went higher, $312,000 for a backpack.
I mean, it's a Louis Vuitton
Mate, we're here
Takashi
talking about
Murakami
like we don't want to spend
collaboration. Come on.
€600 on a Louis Vuitton keychain.
Oh man.
Someone
Yeah,
is out here
insane.
again with the fees and the shipping. This is like nearly 400 grand, nearly 500,000
Yeah, man.
on a
But when I
backpack.
saw this, yeah, when I see this backpack, I like my mind went straight to Pharrell wearing then with I don't know hoodies with his new era hat. All
Yes.
the era, man, that's so cool, man.
But what
Pharrell
is
was,
strange is this one in the description, it does say it's completely dead stock. That picture, that time when he was wearing one around occasionally, I think might be another one. I don't think that's this
yeah,
one.
I think it was the white one.
I've also seen him wearing a black one as well, though.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess because it's special order, which means like for those that aren't aware, like if an item is special order, it means like the general public can't buy it. Only like special customers have access to buy it, basically. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess if you're Pharrell, you could say I want 2 of each color or 3 of each color or whatever. So he could have multiples of them. But yeah, this one does say it's completely dead stock, so never used. So yeah, $312,000.
Incredible.
Yeah. Then we've got a few others random Louis Vuitton bits. So a couple of belts and a pair of pony hair boots. They all sold under estimate, slightly underestimate, all between sort of $600 and $750. We've then got the helmet from the military helmet from the album cover of Nothing.
Yeah.
So that's the green helmet with the camo on it, and then the feathers.
Yeah. That's a cool item also, man.
Yeah, very cool item. Just it's a shame it's from that album. But yeah, a very cool collectible piece. I'm surprised it's a piece that he's even kept.
Hmm. Yeah, true.
But it sold kind of within the estimate for $3,500. Then we get onto the kind of iconic, but Vivienne Westwood buffalo hat that Pharrell was wearing for quite some time. I expected this to go for a bit more. So the estimate was $2,000 to $3,000. And I thought, while no one's probably going to wear it now, it's kind of gone back out of fashion again. I thought just because of the amount he was wearing it and kind of how iconic it was for that period of him and his work, I thought it would have gone for more. But it sold underestimate for $1,500.
Nice. I like it. That's I hate this hat, man.
And it's weird because like this one, it's
Jesus.
like it says customized by Pharrell, and he just cut a circle and he's just cut a hole in it. I don't understand why he did that. Maybe for I don't know ventilation or something, but I don't understand what the hole is meant to do or represent. Yeah, the hats. There were a few hats here. None of them did particularly well. One of them didn't sell at all. And the other 2 that were here, there was another Vivienne Westwood and a Celentino one. They sold for underestimate, as well. Not really surprising with those hats, to be honest.
Mm.
The next one, which I thought would do better, is a red military jacket that he was
Mm.
wearing, I think, quite a lot during the fly or die kind of
Fly
time.
die.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was estimated 3 to 4,000. It only sold for 2,000.
Mm.
That surprises me slightly.
Yeah, what a shame, man.
Yeah, because that is,
Man, I love this jacket so much. Like because it's my favorite era of N.E.R.D because of it's my favorite album also. And I searched on the internet for similar jackets and I never found it. And when I saw he was selling this, I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. But when I saw the price, of course, I was like
yeah.
disappointed. But also like I'm not going to bid on this because he's missing all those how you
All like the
call it?
medals and things that he had attached to
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's missing all those. Nah, it's not worth it.
I think there's probably a lot of people that looked at this and probably didn't recognize it
Yeah, yeah,
without like all the medals and things on it. I think if it had all the kind of customization and those things attached to it as it was when he wore it originally, it probably would have got a bit more on the final price and may have actually hit the estimate.
yeah. True. And also he has a blue one, right? On the maybe video when he's playing the piano,
Yeah.
he's wearing the blue version of this.
Yeah.
That it also looks pretty cool.
The next item was again one I was going to bid on because there didn't seem to be much interest in it, and it's
Oh,
another Adidas one of one custom item for him, and it's a suit jacket and a pair of shorts in like a beigey kind of color, I guess. And he wore
yeah,
these to the Grammys in 2015.
yeah. I remember those.
Of course, anything that I sort of think about buying here, not things I'm ever going to wear or anything. But because he kind of wore this to the Grammys and it's kind of a completely custom made item, I thought that just good to have in a collection. I thought, like, if I did win it, it's the sort of thing I'd maybe get framed or something.
Yeah,
It sold massively under the estimate. It was estimated for 1,500 to 2,500. It ended up only selling for 625. I am a little bit gutted I didn't bid on this one now because I think just the items themselves are probably worth more than $625.
oh yeah, true.
Like if you went to Adidas and said, custom make me a one of one suit that I'm going to wear at the Grammys, that's going to cost a person thousands, if not more.
Yeah,
And obviously, no normal person would even be able to get that because Adidas wouldn't do it. Yeah, I'm kind of gutted I didn't bid on this one.
yeah. That's the one that when people were like taking photos with flash, like it was completely changing the color, right?
Yeah, it's like reflective. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool, man.
Next up, a pair of Nike Air Mags. Again, these sold underestimate because I think the hype has died down on Air Mags versus what it was when they first came out.
Yeah,
When was it? 15 years ago or whatever. These sold. No, the estimate was 20 to 30,000. They sold for 16,000. I can imagine Pharrell probably paid more than 16,000 for them because when they first came out, they were only available via auction. And I think, if I remember rightly, Pusha bought a pair as well at the time. And I think he paid like over 100 grand or something for them.
wow,
Yeah, I can imagine Pharrell probably paid a fair amount for these. They're obviously in a desirable size as well, like a US 9.
wow, it is.
Yeah, so I reckon he's probably lost money on these in the long run, but yeah, they sold for 16 grand. Next up, a pair of Bape Roadsters. So one of the ones from the kind of Pharrell collection from 2005, 2006, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
This is the kind of pink and purple kind of coloured pair with a bit of green on.
yeah, man.
These sold just under estimate for 750. That doesn't surprise me, especially when you read the description and it just says like, these shoes may not be wearable because of the age and condition of them. So they've obviously
Oh, I
been,
haven't seen this.
yes, they've been kept like dead stock. They've never been worn or anything, but Vape roasters of that time have a tendency to disintegrate. Basically, there aren't many functioning pairs out there still,
Okay.
and you can also see the air bubble is completely clouded up and grimed up and everything on the inside. So I would imagine if you put those on your feet, they would just collapse and fall apart instantly.
Yeah, true.
Next two items are both items again I did consider bidding on. So they are BBC New Era caps. So there's a bright gold one and a bright silver one. They were only available in the Tokyo BBC store in very limited numbers. Again, these are definitely not something I would wear because they're just the color of them is too out there. But I thought they'd be a nice kind of piece of the collection, a part of BBC history. So I was going to bid on them, but I didn't. The silver one sold for 313 in the end. The gold one did have bids on it, but I don't think it reached the reserve price because it looks like, according to this, it's unsold. Again, they were kind of on my list. I think the starting bid was like 200 for these. So if it had stayed around that sort of price, I would have been interested. But
Yeah.
once it goes up and it starts getting to about 400, no, I was out.
Okay.
Next two items didn't sell. There was a Jacob and Co. set of grills and a Dolly set of kind of diamond grills. These were estimated between sort of 5,000 and 15,000. Neither of these sold. That doesn't surprise me
No.
because, they're custom made for his teeth. These are literally, if you're going to buy these, they're literally things that are just going to sit on a shelf to show to people. You can't wear
Yeah,
them
exactly.
yourself. So
True.
doesn't surprise me that these didn't sell. The next one that had quite a bidding war, unsurprisingly, is the Jacob and Co. Diamond Carabiner clip in kind of white gold and diamond. Again, an iconic piece that we saw Pharrell wearing for years with his Ferrari and Rolls Royce
Man.
keys clipped onto the back of his jeans.
Yeah. Even in concerts, right? Like on
Yeah,
stage, he
he would.
was
Yeah,
wearing
he would
those.
always have this. Yeah,
Man, such a stunt, man.
and this was
Super dope.
estimated to sell between 10 and 20,000. It went for 50 in the end, and yeah, there were a lot of bids at the end.
Yeah.
Next up, a Jacob and Co. yellow gold and yellow diamond handcuff bracelet. I think Pharrell's had this for quite a long time, but I still see Jacob and Co. selling these at the moment, so it's obviously a fairly popular product. This sold at the top end of the estimate for $20,000. Then two items that didn't sell, and this is a recurring theme with the kind of high end jewelry. He had a Jacob and Co. 24 gemstone necklace with an estimate of $1 million, and then a Lorraine Schwartz gold and yellow diamond necklace estimated at 600,000,
Wow.
and neither of those sold. Kind of surprises me, kind of doesn't. Obviously, we saw in the earlier auctions, the really high end jewelry pieces actually beating their estimates and selling into the millions. But I think, we don't have Drake in the background, I don't think now, bidding on these. So there wasn't as much interest this time and nobody willing to pay literally $1 million for a necklace. The next item, absolute classic, and I know the person that bought this one, the solid gold BlackBerry 8820 that we saw, Pharrell carrying around for years and using, completely customized,
Yes.
completely in gold, with an ice cream logo on the back as well. This sold surprisingly underestimate, but it still went for $12,500.
Wow. And who bought it?
So the person that bought it is one of the people that I believe kind of co-owns Casanova Vintage, the vintage store in Tokyo. They also have a collab with Pharrell coming out soon.
Oh, cool.
They also previously bought lots of Nigo's items, so they own Nigo's giant BBC dollar chain. They also own a lot of Nigo's old kind of customized BBC and ice cream luggage, Go Yard luggage, as well as some of his Louis Vuitton stuff as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a store in Tokyo at the moment. I think they've got other stores opening soon, and they deal with vintage pieces, high end pieces. I know at the moment they've got stuff in there from Pharrell's last couple of collections, and they do all Hermes bags, Louis Vuitton bags, luggage, clothing. It's one of those stores in Tokyo that celebrities always kind of go into and pass through to try and find interesting pieces.
Nice.
They were the successful bidders on this item.
Okay, nice.
The next, I'm amazed it's even sold, the Jacob & Co. Cactus Plant Flea Market Oakley sunglasses. Pharrell was wearing these. He had them in his profile pictures for a while, didn't he? Around the time that No One Ever Really Dies kind of came out, or just before that.
Yeah.
With he was wearing the red jacket as well. And he had these Oakley glasses. I never liked these Oakley glasses.
Yeah, me too.
As I say, they're a pair of Oakleys. They're customized by Jacob & Co. and Cactus Plant Flea Market. They sold under estimate, but they did sell for just over $9,000. So,
Okay.
enjoy wearing those, whoever bought them. Another item that went for quite a lot over the estimate, probably unsurprisingly, customized Bape gold, solid gold, whatever it is, G-Shock, was estimated to go for 10 to 15,000, went for 21,000.
Yeah.
Again, another kind of iconic piece that we've seen Pharrell wear in the past.
True.
We're going to skip past some of the jewelry stuff because it's quite boring. LV charm bracelet sold over estimate, 12.5 grand. A Garrard diamond and ruby winged dagger necklace had lots of bids on this last minute, went for 10 grand, so slightly over estimate. A couple of iconic items, N.E.R.D belt buckles made by Jacob & Co. Unsurprisingly, these went over estimate. The colourful one had quite a bidding war at the end. It went for $37,500. The black diamond version went for $22,500.
Wow.
Kind of iconic.
Yeah.
Then a very surprising item in this auction, a Tibaldi gold and gemstone pen with
Ridiculous.
the Bape version of, or Baby Milo version, whatever it is, the character of Pharrell from In My Mind, and covered in sort of diamonds with an American flag on it and his name in diamonds around the top. I can't imagine he requested this item or had this item made for him.
Yeah.
I imagine this was a gift to him, maybe from the company. It sold for $6,000.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Surprisingly.
yeah. If you're into pens and you're into Pharrell, then brilliant.
Yeah.
We have also got, again, lots of a Chanel tennis set, 4 grand. A Chanel wire basket, nearly $14,000. Okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this, man?
Go shopping, obviously. Go to the
Jesus.
supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
A Chanel trolley bag, $4,000. A blue military jacket, underestimate, just under 2,000. A Chanel gold sweater and trouser set, which he wore in a Chanel photo, or he wore on a photo shoot, didn't he? Where he was,
I have no idea. I
yeah,
was
he was
looking
kind of
to these and I don't
dressed up
remember
like
those.
an Egyptian.
Oh, okay, yes.
I think if you look at the item in the description, there's a link. You can click it and you can see him actually wearing it. And I think it takes you to him as part of that photo shoot or whatever. And yeah, he wore it on a catwalk as well at a Chanel show.
Yeah, true. I am seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, went a random thing that no one else is going to wear. So it went for underestimate, 2.5 grand. Then there's a Jacob & Co necklace, went for 26 grand, well over estimate. Another necklace, 15 grand. A Supreme and Tiffany one that went for 3 grand. Then 2 more quite expensive items that didn't sell at all. So a Lorraine Schwartz pair of bangles, which were estimated to go for 150 and didn't sell. And then another $1 million necklace from Jacob & Co, which didn't sell. I think the starting bid on this was like 800 grand originally, and then they reduced it down to 500,000. And then I think at the start of today, they'd reduced the starting bid down to 300,000 or something, but it's still got no bids whatsoever. So again, nobody interested in the high end jewelry.
Yeah.
The Frank Mueller watch went for 21 grand, around estimate. A pair of customized Levi's from RH Vintage
Horrible.
that sold for $750. Absolutely terrible pair of trousers, but somebody decided they liked them.
Nice.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Domau and Perez chair, a sample of a chair that they did with Pharrell. This got a lot of late bids as well. Ended up going over estimate 3,500. Gucci suitcase, 1,500. Customized leather Pauline bag by Moynat for 8 grand, so quite a bit over estimate. Some Nike Supreme SB Dunks, just under 2 grand. Then we've got loads of shoes and skateboards, which I'm not interested in.
Mm.
Customized Timberlands, 4.5 grand. Customized Stan Smiths, 875. And then a couple of pairs of Adidas shoes that, again, I was debating bidding on. So there's a hand painted sample pair of NMDs. They ended up going for 875. And then another pair in a sort of different colorway, which ended up going for just over 2,000, which I think Pharrell had personally kind of written on and put things on.
Yeah, true.
A bunch of skateboards. Hermes skateboard 4 grand, a Daft Punk skateboard 5 grand, a Supreme Damien Hirst one 2.5 grand, a Cause Crooked one just over 3 grand, a Supreme Richard Prince one $625, a Para and Tired one 375. Then a BBC one again, which I was looking at bidding on, but at this point it was either this skate deck or one other item I had my eyes on, which was right at the end. So I thought, I'm going to leave the skate deck and I'm not going to do it. So I lost out on this one. It only went for 375. So quite annoying. I could have had that. We've then got a varsity jacket. It's like a
Yes.
remake of his Princess and High School one, but this time it's got like rhinestones and things on it. That went for 1.5 grand.
Oh, was under.
Yeah, slightly
Yeah.
underestimate. Yeah.
That's the one that I also wanted, yeah.
Then some interesting pieces, which again I was keeping my eye on, but I knew they would go for silly money. So you got the white Star Trek T-shirt, which he wore in the Let's Get Blown video.
Yes.
That went for 1,500. That I would love to have
Yeah.
got just because it was worn in the video.
Yeah, man. Incredible.
You then got like a beige
Such
Star
a
Trek
classic.
varsity jacket, which is like a
Mm.
sample piece, and it was on done on a Bape jacket when they were like testing out how to make things. This went over estimate for 3 grand. This jacket is lovely. It's got the Star Trek logo on it. It's got, I think,
Yeah.
Pharrell's name on the front. It's got the astronaut on the arm. I can't remember if it's got BBC on the back. I'm just going to open it and have a quick look. Can't remember if it's. Oh, no, it has a Star
No, it
Trek logo
hasn't.
on the back.
Star
Yeah,
Trek look in the back.
yeah.
Oh,
So
but
this
I
is
didn't know, but it was featuring on the Louvre Runaway show. Oh, Louis Vuitton.
most of these items were. Yeah, they were. If you watch
Oh,
the runway show, all the things in the middle, they all hold all of these items.
oh yeah, yeah, but no, but I think I just haven't seen this. But yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this went over estimate for 3 grand. Again, would have been an item I would have loved. A sample BBC zip up hoodie again on a Bape blank went for 1,250.
Of course.
And then we've got a classic ice cream bomber jacket, the green and black one, which has ice cream on the front and then has, I think it's is it the Cone Man on the back or the clock on the back? I can't remember now. Oh, it's the Cone
Yeah,
Man, the
it,
skating one.
yeah,
Now, Pharrell wore this jacket everywhere for a period of time,
yeah,
out in public, in photo shoots and things like that. It went for $1,000, which is overestimate slightly, but I thought this one might have gone for more
yeah, true.
just because of how popular the jacket was and how much he wore it in public. All right, and then let's rattle through the last few items because we've been going a while. So BBC fitted cap, $625. Again, had my eye on this one, decided not to. A Sonics NBA jersey
Yeah.
went for $875. God knows why. A Miami Heat top or jersey, as they call it, signed by LeBron James, went for 3,000. So quite a lot underestimate. They estimated 5 to 10,000, but effectively, if you're buying this, you're just paying for the LeBron James signature. So
Yeah.
is anyone going to pay 10 grand for a LeBron James signature? Probably not. The next one, BBC yellow running dog shirt, which he wore in a couple of performances. This went for $1,400. Again, I had my eye on this one. Didn't get it. I actually used to own this shirt as well. I think I sold it for like some tiny amount. Then on to your favorites, the snowboarding boots. So a couple of pairs of Nike snowboarding boots.
I love that fit, man. That Pharrell is wearing the multicolor boots. He's wearing like a BBC jeans, and I think he's wearing like a flannel shirt, like BBC blue flannel,
Yeah.
and the polo half Lauren. What is the name of that thing? That is just that is like a call it no. Oh, I don't know the name of the thing, but it looks like a lifeguard.
Oh,
I
like a
don't
puffer
remember
vest
them.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Yes, exactly. It's a puffer vest, like red puffer vest by Polo Half Lauren,
And he's got the terrible
and
moustache as well at the time.
yeah, exactly. And he's wearing like a fedora also. Like I
Yeah.
think it's a cream fedora. Man, I love that fit, man. It's so crazy, so over the top, but he looks good on it. Like I think he's my top, like he's my favorite Pharrell fit of all time.
Well, you might get lucky in the future then, because the colourful pair of snowboard boots didn't sell by the looks of it. So they may come up in auction again at some point.
Nice.
The silver pair sold for just $625, but yeah, the colourful pair didn't sell.
Okay.
Then there's also a couple of classic Hawaiian shirts. Both of those sold for 375. I think they've both been worn by him, but I think one of them he wore on The Voice or something at some point as well. So one of them's been on TV. We've then got 3 more custom Adidas jackets customized by Cactus Plant Flea Market. They all sold. One sold for 2,000, one for 2,750, one for 1,900. So all of them slightly below estimate. And I thought the red one would have sold for more, but it didn't. You've then got like a really good bargain here as well. A Comme des Garçons leather jacket, which sold for $625. I think the
Wow.
jacket's probably worth more than that anyway.
Exactly. Exactly.
The estimate was 1 to 2,000 and it sold for 625.
And also those jackets are like I assume is real leather, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's just for being the real leather, like
yeah,
yeah,
worth a
it's
lot.
pretty cheap.
The
Yeah,
next item is the item that I really wanted. So it's a BBC Tiger camo jacket that Pharrell has worn a few times in public.
yeah.
This is the one I was going to go for. It had like one bid on it, at the start of the day and up until into the evening. It was just at 300. It went up to 500, so it didn't sell for massive money. But again, yeah, the next bid that I would have put on it was 600. Then you had fees and all that, and it gets to about 700. And I just thought 700 is a bit much. I can't really justify it. So
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but that was one that I was after. You've then got a military jacket that went for 2,000, a Levi's vintage hand painted denim jacket for 1,000, a Future Farmers Service Supply vintage jacket that I've seen him wear, I think in a photo shoot or maybe out in public somewhere. That sold for 750. And then one of the strangest items in the auction, right at the very end, is just a generic NASA grey crew neck T-shirt that has some kind of massive stain down the front, like he's dropped his dinner down himself. And it's
Man,
sold for $375. Now, when I looked at this originally,
Incredible.
there were not photos of Pharrell wearing it, but now there do seem to be photos of him wearing it. Okay.
Wasn't it that time that he was putting his music on the moon or something like that? Remember
Yeah, so the photos here are taken
that he even
from the Oscars, the 89th Oscars, which were 2017.
okay.
So he wore it at least to an Oscars event and then went home and dropped his dinner down it by the looks of it, and then put it into storage.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if it's made by a brand or anything. It looks like the tag says G Star Raw, but I can't tell properly. But yeah, that sold for $375. I did debate that one as well, but then I thought, no, I don't want a jumper that looks like Pharrell's dropped his dinner down it. So yeah, that was the auction.
Okay.
Like I say, there were a few bits I was interested in, but yeah, once the prices started creeping up, then I bowed out.
No, man. Just one thing. Just one thing that you said you are trying to see what brand that did the NASA sweatshirt. It's not G-Star at all. It's a normal brand that sell like clothes to small companies, like to small brands, just to print on it. It's called Gildan. So
Oh, just a generic one then.
yeah, exactly. Even this brand even became a meme because every starting clothing line start to buy clothes from this brand because it's super cheap and you can print on it and start to sell your t-shirts, sweatshirts, and clothing. Yeah,
Well, good to see him wearing a sweatshirt of normal people.
yeah,
He can be a man of the people sometimes when he wants a NASA hoodie or shirt.
yeah, true. Yeah, man,
But yes, that was everything. And that was a lot that we went through.
true.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about all those items because, yeah, there were some interesting bits in there. And if we hadn't talked about all the items, somebody would have said, "You didn't talk about this that I really liked."
Yeah, 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 true. No, it was good.
But yeah, some interesting items that didn't sell as well. Like I say, the high end jewelry stuff, none of that sold. A few other kind of random bits, hats that didn't sell that I didn't really think would. So it'd be interesting to see kind of what goes into the next auction that he ends up doing. So I'm sure he still has, loads of stuff in storage somewhere, and they're probably planning
Yeah,
out
yeah, of
what to
course.
sell and when. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they put more of that high end jewelry in there if it isn't as popular now.
Yeah, true. Let's see. But I can even imagine what it's going to be because I think the one of the most iconic things is were already released on the first one, and this is the second one, right? Of his items?
Third one, I think now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Damn.
second or
Okay.
third. Yeah,
Yeah, because I know Jupiter did other auctions, right? Like
yeah,
even with J Balvin, everything. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. They've done loads of collaborations so far. Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, let's see what turns up next time and what other collaborations they
Yeah,
have planned. Be interesting to see.
yeah, true.
But we have gone for over 2 hours, so I reckon we should wrap it up because it is going to be a nightmare for me to edit this at some point this week.
Yeah, true.
All right, man.
Okay, man.
People listening, you can find us online by going to theothers.net/about. That has all of the links there to all of our social media, mine and Rafa's and his Sneak Cartel account and all that sort of stuff. So if you want any links to follow us, just head over to theothers.net/about. But both of us are on most platforms, so you'll be able to find us somewhere. If you want access to the show notes and additional information, again, just head over to the main website, theothers.net. You'll find stuff there. You'll also find merch there as well if you're interested in buying yourself a nice t shirt or a nice hat or a nice mug or any other thing. You can make sure if you are looking for merch, maybe you're looking for a present, you can follow Rafa online and you can go buy some of his lovely artwork as well, which you can find
Yes,
adorned on pieces of paper, on t-shirts, on all sorts of things out there.
true. Yes. Buy my things, people. I need
Buy
it.
his things. They're cheaper than a Pharrell auction.
Yes, 100%.
and nicer.
I don't know about that, but thanks.
I think I've got more of your art in my house than like anybody else. So they're good.
Oh
They're
yeah,
good,
true.
good items.
Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate it always.
A pleasure. All right, we'll wrap it up there. We will hopefully be back in a couple of weeks if our schedules allow so. If not, we'll be back soon after. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.